Oh, Brian and Tommy, welcome aboard. How are you?
Very good.
We're great, thank God, yeah.
And this is Johnny and Johnny,
Yeah, that's
easy to
us.
remember. Lads, my first question is, how are you still going?
Drink.
Yeah, well, the other thing is, 6 years is a long
Yeah.
time.
You must look after yourselves very well, to still be performing.
I think it's in the genes rather than looking after ourselves, because I don't think we looked after ourselves. Especially the early years.
If we had known we were going to last this long, we would have took care of ourselves better.
We used to rehearse in the pubs around Inchicore, and we'd be there at 11:30, 12 o'clock in the day, and we'd tune the guitar, have a pint. Learn the first verse of a song, have a pint.
We've been doing it wrong.
Yeah. Oh, if you look after yourself, you won't last.
Jeez, and putting 60 years into perspective is amazing. Like you were saying, when you started jamming in pubs, you were playing with the Dubliners, and Lou Kelly, and all these people.
They were all. We used to work the folk clubs around Dublin, Moser Street, and all the various, and all the bands formed out of that. As one time there was 600 ballad groups in Dublin, 1966.
Now there's only one.
Now there's only one,
There's one or two,
You've seen the rest of them off, lads.
Yeah, it's an amazing, and amazing life we had. We've, seen the whole world across America, Canada, Australia, across Europe. And it's amazing how the music and the words and the songs translate across Europe, in Germany, for instance, in Holland, in
Iceland.
France.
Yeah, Iceland.
Europe and Iceland.
Reykjavik,
What did they make you in Iceland?
Yeah, well, what we did up there, and what we do quite a bit, if they don't speak the language, do a printout of the songs in their own language.
Okay.
Really?
So that they know what we're singing about. They know the story.
We sang Rock On, Rock All, and of course the Icelanders loved that because they have a hand on that as well. And it was just about near the Cod War. And one of the heroes of the Cod War against the British at the time was the captain of one of their few ships they had in their navy. And he was at the concert, and after the song Rock All Rock, they all stood up, and we got a standing ovation.
Wow.
Jenny,
man.
In Iceland.
And
they only hold a festival every 4 years because the population is so small they can't afford it.
Or they can't afford G.
They afforded it. We were cheap.
And even to younger generations, like you were playing here in the Olympia last night, and what kind of a crowd do you have? Young?
They're mostly young, 18 to 25.
I met a couple in the lift this morning, and they had 2 big 5-litre gallon drums of water.
Oh.
And I said, we out last night? They said, we're at the Wolfe Tones. I said, was it good? They said, it was unreal, we're dying. I said, that's a sign of a good night anyway, I
think, so there's something about the Wolfe Tones. We hold the record for selling drink, the bar receipts. Everywhere. Including, last year we were in the town hall in New York. And they told us afterwards that they ran out of beer, right? And then after that, they sold 95 bottles of Jameson.
Oh, Jesus. Is the record for the crowd or the band? Jesus. And would you have a jar on stage?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Before?
Well,
during.
You get thirsty.
It is thirsty work,
yeah.
I think the crowd like it as well when they see that, the lads are having a good time as well.
Well, we always involve the crowd. Our show, probably like ourselves, the show involves the crowd. We get them to participate, whether it's clapping, singing, do the choruses. We just involve them. And I think that I think it just resonates with them, sort of.
And the stories are about Irish life and Irish history. So everybody, you can listen to pop music. It's nothing about Ireland, you know what I mean? It's not even an Irish tradition.
But that's it. You said it there when you were talking about going to Iceland and printing out the lyrics so that they know, because that's what all those songs are. They're all stories.
They're all stories.
They're all stories.
Well, that's the ballad. That's an old tradition.
And the funny thing about that was that, we were singing the song, they were reading the words, and then they were laughing when they shouldn't have been laughing.
Different sense of humour than Icelandics.
They were behind it, reading the lyrics, and they go,
Well, that's probably because it was translated wrong.
Yeah. What's the biggest song of the night?
Oh, Celtic Symphony and Joe McDonald probably the two biggest songs. Yeah.
Streets of New York, the big one.
Yeah.
Grace.
Grace, huge.
Yeah. What did you make of the fuss around the Irish ladies soccer team singing Celtic Symphony? Your
Fantastic.
Song? Yeah.
The only disappointing thing about it was it took the shine off their fantastic win.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's Dublin 4 for you. I mean, they're going to say, well, it's not. Brian wrote the song.
Yeah.
It's not a rebel song. Yeah. The chorus is well up the rap, but that's a graffiti on the walls in Glasgow.
Yeah.
You know, but the song is about Glasgow Celtic.
Yeah, it was written for the anniversary.
Yeah.
Like Brian, you wrote that song.
Yeah, I did, and you know, when I was walking through Glasgow, I seen the graffiti on the wall, which you do, and it said "Up the cells," you know, we're magic, and up the ra. So you know, I'm explaining what it's like in Glasgow. The Glasgow Irish have been very loyal to Ireland over the years. They supported every effort for either civil rights in the north and, you know, for freedom in Ireland. Because they they had to leave Ireland because of economic reasons. They got no help when they got there. They were looked down upon, and they had to fight their way up, and they're still fighting their way up. And so that needed to be explained in the song as well.
And what do you say to the people who criticise it and say, you know, we're supposed to be promoting peace?
Listen to the words.
They don't understand.
No, but listen to the words. I mean, people that give out about the song or on radio or newspapers, they haven't listened to the song. We've had people doing a review of the show, critique of the show, that weren't even at it.
Stop.
Yeah.
There was one in particular years ago. We were in the Green Isle Hotel, and the night before, or the day before we did the gig, there was a critique on the show. Knocking it.
In the paper?
In the newspaper.
Jeez.
Right? And they did it the night before. So people have preordained ideas.
I wouldn't believe everything you'd read in the newspaper.
No, true, yeah.
Like that Finn O'Toole guy, you know, the bloody idiot. And he goes and he writes the article, you see, and he says they even had a song about escape, a number one song, escape from Crumlin Road jail, he said. So he moved the helicopter escape from Mountjoy jail to Crumlin Road. He never done his research as a journalist should do. And he wrote that article stupidly, laying himself down as a serious journalist, which he's not.
And how come we don't see ye on RTE much anymore, lads?
I think they're afraid of us.
You think so?
I don't know, but I mean, for years and years, we might get a token play once a month, once every 2 months. That's it.
When's the last time you did like the Late Run? Which
to be fair now, we've done quite a few. We did Royal Trouble.
Recently, you know, I requested they do something for you know, for the anniversary, and you know, I think it was the 55 or something like that. And it was turned. The idea was turned down. I think there was a petition sent in to RTE at one stage that had like over 200,000 people requesting the Wolfe Tones for the Late Late Show. That was totally ignored. It was a group on the internet that got together, and it never ever happened. They never even got a response.
What would you sing?
What?
If you could sing one song in the Late Late, what would you sing?
No, we already did it kind of on the one road. It's like a playlist, played on the one road. You know?
At one time we had put down A Nation Once Again. Now a good long time ago. And they said they agreed with that. So we went on the show and they said, you can't do that song.
Wow.
And why not? Somebody else did it on a previous occasion, and I said, it's not the song, it's the way we sing it.
Wow.
No, I think at the time was that, it was okay for Frank Patterson to sing it, but the Wolfe Tones, when they sing it, they mean it.
Yeah. They mean it. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Do you think Tubridy is a fan?
I don't know.
Well, he's okay.
I mean, he's a presenter, but I think people around him aren't fans, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're all secretly going home listening to the broadcast.
I can tell them out there, we've no fans in the researchers out there in RTE. We send you a CD if you want one.
You were saying you played at Ryan Tubridy's grandfather's.
I did, yeah, and we did. We did. That was Todd Andrews, and we were requested by Dorothy Tubridy, who was a big fan at the time. Yeah. And she...
I don't think any relation. Is she any relation to Ryan?
I don't know, really. I don't know, really. But
that would have been Ryan Tubridy's grandfather.
That's right.
Birthday.
Yeah, Todd Andrews. Yeah. We played for De Valera in the Irish Life Theatre. Yeah. And he came back afterwards and said, congratulated, shook hands with each and every one of us, and he said, "Well, you guys are alive, 1916, and the memory of those great heroes will never die."
Wow. Eamon de Valera said.
Eamon de Valera said that.
And what age were you at that time?
I was about 20, 19, 20.
What was it like hearing that?
Young.
It was big. I mean, getting acknowledged by the president of a country is like special, isn't it? Yeah.
And Charlie was a big fan.
Was he?
Yeah.
Charlie High?
Charlie, yeah. Charlie used to come to Páirc Uí Chaoimh.
Did he?
Wow. Yeah, to the Sheamshire, yeah.
On the way back from Cork, we stopped off for a pint in the Palace Hotel in Thurles.
In Thurles, yeah.
You probably know it.
Yeah. That's close.
And the manager came in to me and he says, "Tommy," says, "somebody upstairs wants to see you." And I went upstairs and it was Charlie with his entourage. Yeah. So he just said, "I just want to know." He said, "I enjoyed the show. I just want to know how you did it."
And what did you say?
Well, because we stole the show. We were there for 10 years in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Sheamus Cushley.
Yeah.
The crowds got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And every year, people used to say that we only went to that show to see you making... outdoing all the acts that ever came in, and used to be the biggest act of the day. And we were it's huge. Like when RT filmed it, they used our crowd scenes for most of the other people.
For the other acts. Can I ask, what do you make of modern music now, or do you listen to any?
What's modern music?
I mean, like, would you, like
on the radio now? We have to play, Beyonce.
No, I'll tell you, I listen to. I wouldn't know one song Beyonce sings.
Yeah, Cardi B.
Never heard of her.
No.
Well, I listen to talk radio.
Okay,
I mean,
that's old man stuff.
Yeah.
Or is there any Irish bands coming up you like now, or like what do you think of U2?
Oh, they're a fantastic band. Yeah. But I mean, you can't knock them. You might like to knock them, but you can't.
It's an Irish thing, isn't it?
They're huge.
They look after our own.
Great band.
You were talking there about like doing Sheamshire, like in Cork and stuff like that. Would you do Electric Picnic?
We would if we were asked.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, but there you go. You've heard it now.
Yeah. What if they said you can only play for 45 minutes? Would you say?
Yeah,
we'll do 2 hours.
We can cut it down.
You must be joking. If he could do 3.5 hours, we do 3.5. We do 2.5. If he could do 3.5, he'd have 3.5. Oh,
they want to cut. I want to make it. I want to make everybody out there happy.
Yeah, that's.
How long is your gig each night?
2.5.
2.5. But as I said, 2.5 is supposed to be.
Right.
2:45, 2:50 wouldn't be out of the way.
Well, it depends on applause. Sometimes the applause can last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. Do you have gigs that stand out in your memory?
One in particular, Glasgow. To me, best gig in the
for
world.
Me too. It's a great
the
gig.
Barrowlands.
The Barrowlands, yeah. Just as you mentioned it, the police sirens.
That's okay, yeah. Well, they'd be outside anyway.
Yeah.
For no reason at all.
I have to say, this is fantastic. This has to be one of the great theatres of the world. Now, we played Carnegie Hall and all those places.
The
Albert Hall, all the great halls, but this is very special. Yeah. It's more compact. You hear all the applause and everything. It's marvellous.
And it's in our own city, so
very important. Special, yeah.
What's Belfast like? Sounds to me that's
the Flat
on the Falls Road.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
how many people?
Fail in a pubble.
Well, supposedly it's restricted to 10,000.
It looks a lot bigger than that.
Well, it is. So I cannot say in case the DUP might be listening.
The DUP, every single year they come up with the same thing. They focus in on up the ra, and about they bring somebody on a radio show, somebody that whose father was killed Remember the RUC, was killed by the IRA, blah, blah, blah. And what do you think of this song now? This band singing New Up to Ran, your dad was killed by them. You know, that kind of thing. They're focusing in on that, forgetting about the other side of the story, forgetting about, the nationalist community that were persecuted.
In all the songs you come across, what makes a song a rebel song?
It's not. I think Byrne was the first one to call them rebel songs.
Was he?
I did an interview with him on the radio years and years. God love me, he's not around. Yeah. But he said, "What about the rebel songs?" And I said, "They're not rebel songs. These are songs I sang in school. We all sang in school when we were kids. Like when I was going to school in Nation once again, Sean South and Gary On, they were songs you learnt in school. They only became rebel songs after 1969, 1970.
Yeah.
You know." But then the term went from Irish songs to rebel songs. So they're not, I wouldn't call them a rebel song, I'd just say Irish songs. We tell the story of Ireland, every aspect of it. Yeah. The good, the bad, the ugly, the love songs. And that's what we do, we tell the story.
And you don't forget your heroes. Some people went out there and said, no, I wouldn't never sing a rebel song. But they left out a great section of Irish folklore by not telling the story of people like Dan Breen or people like John Tracy and all these great heroes that were around Ireland many years ago. But for them, we would have no freedom. We would have no people criticising the Wolfe Tones.
But you must love it, do you? When you see the Wolfe Tones trending again, or people are giving out about you, you must think, great, bring it on.
Yeah.
Well,
of course.
No. For a while it was annoying.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point that, we just accepted these are the bloody cranks in Ireland. There's loads of them, God knows.
When everyone was giving out, you went to number one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the perfect response.
It just shows you. Right? They're actually doing us a big favour.
But the thing is, never, ever, ever tell an Irish person they can't sing a song.
Yeah.
They will do it in spite of you. They do.
We're like bold children. Don't do that.
And they go out there and they sing it twice as loud, And
more gusto.
I think that's a great response that the Irish people give to these bloody cranks. And they're all over the place, you know what I mean? Like, people like to be cranking about something. The DUP up there in the north are cranking about every time we go on fail in a pub. They come on the same thing, the same show, criticising the Wolfe Tones. Nobody else gets criticised, just the Wolfe Tones.
That's part of it.
So we're not liked by the DUP, you might have
And, has music always been, or is your music a bit political, kind of?
Yes.
Has music always been...
Well, I suppose so, yeah. I mean, the protest songs, they were always, it started probably in America in the 60s also. Joan Baez, Bob Dylan, they started with protest type songs.
There was no fear you could have been a pop band or anything, no?
No fear of that.
I don't think so.
Well, Pete Seeger would have been one of my heroes, in fact, and I went on stage with him back in the early 60s, about 64. We were the Young Folk Song Society. And he asked people to come on stage with him to sing the chorus with him. Yeah. And we went on stage and he was playing the banjo. My God, I was so impressed with the stage presence and everything else that I said, I'm going to be like him.
My God.
Was he singing out of tune as well?
Oh, lads. Do you go to any gigs yourselves?
Yes. I've been to a few.
Who'd you like to go to see these days?
Let's see now who I was with last. One of the worst shows I was at, and it was at the Welsh, Sir Alan Jones.
Okay, yeah.
I went to see him in Bordgoss.
Well,
not impressed, because the whole show was gospel songs, church songs. And he thought he was on Songs of Praise.
Right.
So I wasn't impressed.
But forgot the audience are there.
Yeah, different. Certainly wasn't a Wolfe Tone audience.
Yeah. Does the Wolfe Tones audience ever get too carried away?
No.
What's too carried away? You know,
No, they're
very exuberant. Let me put it that way.
They're very respectful too. When for the slower songs like Joe McDonald and everything else, like you wouldn't hear a pin drop. And so you know they're enthusiastic during the faster numbers, and they're totally silent. During
it's an enjoyable. It's a great experience.
But you were saying like with the bar taking's been so record breaking as they were.
They can get going when they want to.
Well, I mean, as I said, they're very respectful. To everything that happens on stage.
And speaking of music, you're a 3-piece. Noel can't be here today.
Yeah.
He's in bed. Probably.
Thank you for being honest. And of course, we have to ask. You did start. You were a 4-piece once upon a time.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you parted ways with your brother.
Yes, I did, and you know, he's probably happier, and I certainly are.
Okay.
I'm happier. He was creating trouble within the band, and you know, we gave him a choice of staying on, and he wanted to go. I think he wanted to do his own thing, be his own boss. He didn't like anybody else telling him what to do. So he's happy out there. Doing his own thing.
That's the main thing.
And we're happy.
We're very
happy.
Do you think we'd ever see you all back together for one more gig?
No. I don't think so. No.
You're like Oasis, lads.
No.
It's deadly that you're still aiming towards something. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you're
not slowing down.
Yeah, you're not slowing down. You're still.
You have to look forward all the time. I mean, I never look backwards in my whole life. Nothing I ever did. I don't look back. I look what's happening in the future.
Do you think you'll ever retire?
Oh yeah. I hope when I'm old enough to retire.
Well,
Tommy, can I ask you what age you are?
79 next month. Yeah.
And at what age are you planning on retiring?
110,
80.
Would you?
Yeah. Well, next year.
Well, I think we'd next year 60 years together.
Yeah.
I'll be 80. The boys are still young. And
I'm the baby, by the way.
And can we ask you what age you are?
Yeah, 76.
Oh, you're only a chap. Yeah.
77.
Still a young fella.
What are you, child? Yeah.
And what would you do if you retired?
Enjoy life.
Well, I'm writing a musical at the moment, and my ambition is to get it to Broadway.
Yeah.
So you're not retiring at all?
No, that's my ambition, and I'm getting very good response at the moment. So I'm very, very hopeful that I will reach my ambition. Wouldn't that be marvellous?
That would be. We talked about politics. Did you ever consider getting involved in it yourselves?
No. I wouldn't. I couldn't be a politician.
Why not?
You tell the truth too much.
I get too angry when things around me are just so wrong. You know, it's terrible. Like what we're going through at the moment. You know, hospital beds and and the old folk being mistreated. You might say. You know, paying their taxes all year, and then when you get really sick, you can't get into a bed, you can't see a doctor. I mean, that's disgraceful in this country. You know, what do we fight for? You know, to give our old people some comfort in their latter years.
That's us.
I don't count myself. I don't count myself as one of them. Maybe he is. But I've already written the swan song for the group, you know what I mean? So it goes like, goodbye to all my friends, every story has its end.
I'm not singing
but it. Breaks I'm singing it, but it breaks my heart to say a last goodbye to you and everyone. Yeah. But the story still lives on in music and in song. It breaks my heart to say a last farewell.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm going to cry now. Yeah.
On that note, I think we'll leave it there, lads. Fair play. You're inspirational. Still still rocking. Still keeping it going.
We're still enjoying it. That's the
main thing.
And while you have your health to do that, why not?